Hey
guys, welcome to Seeking Truth. My name is Frankie Fraser. Excuse my big hand. Alright, good. I just want to make it brighter. Alright. So, I don't know what's going to happen with Ed Fraser. Ed Fraser. It's like Ed Fraser. I'm going to Ed Fraser. Come on. We're going to invite Fraser. Very good. Okay, sorry about the hands. It's a little hard. The camera is like right here. So, my hand, it looks like Frankenstein right now. There, so I gotta sit weird. So it looks kind of weird. But let's see. Fraser wants to come on. I'm starting the video. If not, I'm gonna have to end it. He's gonna start one, and we're gonna get all confused. So, I think we want to talk about some Yogi Berra-isms tonight. Yogi Berra Philosophy Class 101 with Frank and Fraser. There's some truth in there too. And I think a lot of the things that he had to say, a lot of these Yogi Berra-isms, dealing with life, can also deal with God too. Like the one that he said, it's not over till it's over. It has some religious connotations to it too. You want to add to it. Excuse me. Religious, philosophical connotations. So, saying it's not over until it's over, meaning that you could be, I don't want to be like that, but you're a bad person. You've done a lot of mean things in your life. You've sinned against God, but you want to turn over a new leaf. So, you have until your last breath on this earth to repent and turn to God. So, it's not, your life is not over until your last breath. So you have all this time to repent. So that's like some of the things that we can go into. And I don't know if Fraser's even watching or not. He just messaged me, so let's see what's going on. Alright. Oh, I'm typing. Fraser might be here any second. So let's see what's going to happen. So we're going to pick up the Yogi Berra-isms. Did I save it? I think I saved it. Well, let me see. Sorry, guys, I'm going to tilt the camera down for a second. I did not save it. Okay, I did bookmark. Alright. So we're going to find out. See. Excuse my big hands. Yogi Berra quotes. Hi, Fraser. I know you're watching now. I can see you. So let's see if I can add you. Add. My Facebook. Zuckerberg. Let it work. Let it work. Yeah, it worked!
Yes, sir.
Hey, Fraser.
Okay. I've just seen my hair now. I don't get my freebie. Is that?
Invest in a comb. I'll send you mine because I don't need them.
There it is. All this stock, they're just collecting dust.
Yeah, right. That's certainly not hair in my house. Combs don't collect hair in my house.
It's all right. It's all right. It's like I said, just one less expense. Sorry, I'm just pulling up a thing. I had it on my phone, but now I want to pull it up on the other thing. Oh, I don't have my earphones. That's okay.
Oh, I can't hear without my earphones, so need to get a new pair. You know they have very good ones. They're called Skull Candy. Wired headphones. They also have wireless headphones. I wouldn't get that though because Bluetooth.
No.
It drains your battery like crazy. But Skull
I have
Candy
some
has
wireless ones, but no, I just you have to recharge them and you just can't lose them. I'm so paranoid about losing them, I don't even take them out.
Skull Candy has the best sound reproduction I've ever heard in a headphone before. These headphones I got here, I don't know if you can see, these crappy ones, these are what came with my phone. They're okay, but they're not good for music.
No, and that's it too. I find
And the bass reproduction, I can't believe the best headphones I ever bought as a teenager were these big, huge ones that fit over your whole ear. They were like $40, but they sounded fantastic.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you would be nice and blocked out, and it would just be for
Yeah,
you
right.
and comfortable. And yeah,
I
those are
never liked
nice.
ones that stuck in your ear because I'm always used to the padded ones that were just on the outside of your ear. So it took me a while. I'm an old man. You get used in some ways.
Yeah, no, I've got these weird ones. They're all right, but they. Oh, I can't even hear you now. But I should use the other one. The other one. You can hear
Yeah,
me all right,
yeah. I can hear fine.
but it's like these little weird ones.
I don't know.
This one,
It looks like they
this one's
fit
actually
into a
dead. The right
contour
one
in the
doesn't
ear.
even work, so I don't even use it.
Oh, jeez. My dog got a hold of a pair of Skull Candy headphones, and he
Whoops.
likes to chew things because he likes to act like a puppy a little bit. So he chews things, and he chewed right through the wire. So he chewed through a pair of like $30 headphones.
That's why you don't get the $100, the whatever ones are, because that's
Yeah,
just it.
exactly.
Me, I'm worse than your
Especially if you have a
dog. I
dog.
eat through. Yeah,
You
I
need
have that same thing with
headphones?
like plug-in cords, and I like just today at the grocery store, I come back and whoops, there it's like draped out of the car, like slammed in the car door. I'm like, well, that's how I,
Oh,
that's how I eat them. Oh my
bad.
God, I'm
It's
terrible,
bad.
terrible.
Okay,
Should
so
I, should I
so
get
we
a
want to
Yogi
get into
Berra?
the Yogi Berra philosophy tonight. We can
I
hit a
read these
couple
things.
of them.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't stay on too long. I really should get into some sleep
All right,
because
so we can do.
I do. But
No, we can do
I
a
had
half
some
hour
like
real quick.
that's it. I had some real good thoughts, or not some good thoughts. I had some like, just some like even in just looking it up, Yogi Berra philosophy, Google, and finding a few things, and just seeing that
Yeah.
people have actually boiled it down to a certain point. It's like, yes, it's just exactly where we're going. Some of
You know,
those, or a couple of those articles, I went through the sublinks. But yeah, I had a few thoughts already on the matter. But yeah, we could go from there. Do you have
well,
anyone in
for me,
particular? Any point?
for me, being a simple guy, I don't overanalyze anything. So, overanalyzing a quote, putting more into it, is not what I want to do. I want to
No. Yeah.
break it down into simple things. So his quotes. He had it was from a simple guy, simple. Not I wouldn't say he's a simple mind, but it's a guy who just likes to talk off the cuff. It's not anything he went deep into. Socrates would think days or weeks about what he wanted to say. Him, you say something, like what I was just talking about before you came on. It's not over till it's over. Uh,
Hmm.
some reporter was interviewing him and was talking about I think it was the playoffs before the World Series, and
Hmm.
his team was losing. He was playing for the
Yeah.
Mets, I think. Oh, he was a coach. He wasn't playing. He was a coach, and
That's
we thought he
the
wasn't going to
case.
make it to the playoffs or the World Series. So Yogi Berra says it's not over until it ain't over till it's over.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he went into the playoffs and the World Series to get defeated
All
by
the
the
way.
Oakland A's, I think. So
The A's. That's what
so
it
like
says. Yeah. I'm reading it now. Yeah.
so like right. So what I was thinking of now, it's not over till it's over. Like as religion side, you have your whole life. If you're doing bad things, you don't you
Oh yeah.
treat people bad. You don't follow the golden rule, but you have your whole life, even up to your last breath, to
Yeah.
repent and take God as Jesus as your savior, and do some good in your life.
Yeah.
So your life is not over until your last breath. So it's not over
Yeah.
till it's over. So what are your
No,
thoughts?
that's good. That goes right deep right away. I was following that same quote, but I only got, and I agree with you about breaking down the quotes. I guess what I really like about him, just a general thought, is that simplicity. Is the fact that a quote like that, everyone can catch on to it, right?
Right?
It's
Yeah.
just, it's boiling it down like he boiled it down. We don't have to boil his thing down
Yeah.
anymore because it
Exactly. Yeah.
couldn't be,
Right. You
right?
brought it
It's
down
more
to a
like
simple thing. Yeah.
his kind of life philosophy. If you see it as that, it's again, it's the right to the religious level, right? Don't give up. Like just keep going. It's just not over, right? Like you play to the absolute last minute. I watched that
Right.
football. I just caught the last little bit of that football
Wait.
game, the World
Football or
Series.
soccer? Football or soccer? Because
The
soccer
World
is
Series,
no,
not the
because the
World Cup, but the
football,
World Series.
Not American
The
football,
American, yeah,
world
the
football.
American one.
Okay.
The American
Oh, you
one.
watch American football? Okay. But I
So
think Canadian.
the
You
Super
do.
Bowl. Super Bowl. What did
Yeah.
I say? World Series?
You
Whoops.
said Super
No, it's
Bowl.
Super
No, you
Bowl.
said
Did
World
I say World
Series.
Series?
Yeah, it's Super
I'm
Boll. All
talking
right.
about the most recent Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
right at the end, I'm like, it's over. I said to my buddy, it's over. We could click it off. And then this last play, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? And this
I heard
big
about it.
like
I didn't
tank
watch
of
it
a
though.
guy comes like down and he touches the ball. If he would have caught it, this was still a game. And it was just
Yeah.
like, are you snotting me? Like, I thought they should have given up like a while ago, right? They were all the other way in the field with 12 seconds left or something, right? And it was just like, it ain't over till it's over. Not just in
Oh
sports,
God.
but in life too, yeah.
In life too, yeah, and well, especially in football too. There's so many timeouts that you can go through.
Yeah.
Like the last 10 seconds of a game will take like 40 minutes to play out because of all the timeouts. So
And
they'll
that's
take
just
it.
it. Just see, don't look at 12 seconds. Just see what are the strategies that you can squeeze 100%
Right,
maximum out of 12 seconds. And that's just it. It ain't over. 12 seconds means like, and
right.
we know it in
It
football,
could
that
be an
means like
eternity.
an hour and a
It could
half,
be an
or no, half an
eternity.
hour, right?
It could be an eternity. No, really, it really can be. And time on the other side doesn't exist. Time is a human construct. So here we have a set time span, a limit. So when something is over, it's over for good here. On the other side, it's not. This is why
It
sin
ain't
is
over.
eternal because it has no time on the other side. Any sin against God is eternal. So that's why the punishment is eternal. So you have all your life to repent and turn to God. So it's not over until it's over. Until you say it's over. Till your last breath.
Oh, I see. And for you, yeah, I guess when from yeah, I guess over for me is stopping there. At least in in my interpretation of the quote, but I see what you mean. In going beyond that,
Well, I
like
want to
it's
bring it a
not
little deeper into
over in the
religion and
sense
stuff
that you
like
could
that.
still have access to eternity in that
Right.
sense before the end of your
Right.
time time
Like just
time in the time spectrum. Yeah.
just hypothetically speaking, what if Hitler repented before he blew his brains out?
Yeah.
Is that possible? I don't know. There's an old
Yeah.
saying. I don't know if you heard this. There are no atheists in a foxhole.
I have. Yeah, I've heard that one. I guess for me, well, we don't have to go off into that, but it's the whole idea of heaven and
Well,
hell.
no, I'm
But
just saying.
anyway,
Well, I'm just
that's a whole
using it
other
as
thing.
a
But I understand what you
yeah,
mean, and especially with that, seeing those last moments of your life, like you say,
yeah,
you might be looking for the other side very soon, right? Because that other side
right,
is coming.
right,
So thinking about infinity or the eternal in that moment, I think that's
right.
100% natural. Yeah, yeah. I don't, it's like, yeah, of
Yeah,
course everyone's thinking about God in the foxhole, right? In my mind, yeah.
I
But
think even nihilists think about God up to a point. Like you said, there's no true nihilist, but there's always that little part of your brain that says maybe there is a God. And there's a small part of my brain that we're always gonna have doubts. So there's like times I think about it and say, what if there's nothing on the other side? What if our lives are meaningless? And then
yeah,
I get into an argument with myself, and like I'm 99.9% sure there's a God and there's an eternity of heaven and hell, but there's like the 0.1%, that little bit of doubt that always creeps in because being human, we're always
are
going to
you
have doubts.
agnostic, Frank? No.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, but it's just that question. But no, I would say that, like, even talking to Steve, like, just how he got straight into the dimensionality, the same thing. So he just
Yeah,
sort of, there's this infinite thing that it almost seemed like he didn't want to go to explain it. He was talking about phasing in and out of dimensions and stuff. I'm like, okay, fine, that's what you want to call it. You and I were talking about, well, I was talking, or or we were talking about 26 dimensions, as it were.
right. Yeah.
But it was just sort of like, I'm imagining as some atheists, it's like, well, I can see three or four, so let's see what's on the
Yeah,
other
what else is
side when it
left?
comes.
Right.
Without, and sure, in my mind, it's just sort of yeah, we're our at the base, like I watched back on that one with Steve. That's why I say that he's talking about these phasing in and out. It was pretty out there, or pretty like I hadn't heard this stuff before in that way, in that religious sense kind of thing.
Right.
But it was still talking about the unknown. It was still talking about something well outside of time. And so, and he wasn't, I don't, I'd actually heard him say in the video, I'm not a nihilist. So I think I misquoted him on that. He didn't say I am.
All right.
He
So,
says,
what do you
I'm
think he's
not a nihilist,
agnostic?
is a kind of quote. No,
You
just
think he's
that
agnostic, or?
Well, I just think that like religion
or an
for him
atheist?
is not even like he's talking more
All right, no,
about
I know
infinity without using religious
he doesn't
words.
like structured
You know what I
religions.
mean?
I understand
Yeah, he
he doesn't
doesn't.
like structured religions.
That's it.
He
And so what
right,
words he's using, I'm trying to line those up with that. Kind of like we're saying everyone has a
right.
philosophy, no matter how educated they are. I think everyone's got a certain
Yeah,
view
yeah.
of things outside of their understanding, right? Even if we talk about, oh, the fifth dimension or moving through time, it's already like imagining something just above, just transcending what we have in front of us. You know what I mean? So I think everyone's
Yeah,
got
like
that at some point, that infinity. There's something above us. Now, if they want to call it God, Jesus, whatever they want to call it, it's just like I think everyone's actually got a belief in something a little bit above them. Whether it's like
so.
heaven with flowers and roses, maybe, or
Atheists
hell
don't.
with fire.
Yeah, no,
You know what
but
I mean?
atheists don't think there's a heaven, hell, God, or whatever. Nihilists totally deny all of that. So, what would their philosophy be on dying? I've talked to a few of them, like Pendulet.
I don't
He's
believe
made
in
it very
hell.
clear. I know you don't, but
I don't.
we're not going to get into that right now. But
But I'm not a nihilist.
Pendulet
I mean, but
of Penn
I've,
and Teller,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, okay. So Pendulet of Penn and Teller is an atheist. He doesn't believe there's an afterlife either.
Mm.
He's a staunch atheist, but he's a conservative too, so he's not a bad guy. But then
Yeah,
again,
like a
you
real
get
libertarian, like, yeah.
yeah, right. So you get into this. Well, I think again, I get into the argument with them is if there's no heaven and there's no hell, what what is there here to punish us or reward us there if there's nothing? So you can get away with rape, murder, stealing, anything you possibly want, and there's no. If you never get caught in this realm, there's no eternity punishment. There's no punishment for anything you do. So
Yeah.
everything is a free for all. Why be a good person then? Why just be selfish? Do everything you want for yourself. There's no consequences for it.
I think
So
that's a leap. That's a big leap.
it's
Because
not a leap. It
in my mind, no, no, no. I think it's almost the other way around, where if you say, okay, you can rape and murder as long as in the last 10 seconds of your life you
no, I'm
repent to
not going there.
Jesus. And then in
I'm not
that,
going
my
there. I'm
mind,
just
it's like,
saying
whoops, now you're escaping justice by trying to cheat, trying to find this back door. You know about
no,
this one? Oh, all
no,
I have
because
to do is
I
find
know
Jesus at the last minute.
no.
And
Here's the thing,
so,
Fraser.
whereas the other way around, it's like, whatever I do on earth, that's what I have to leave. In that way, it's like being good because,
Let me correct you.
it
I need to
isn't. It's
correct
almost
you.
like the other way around for me.
No, let me correct you. Being
Yeah.
a Jew, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, whatever, you have to live a certain set of rules. Let's say the gold. We're going to use the golden rule. You have to live the golden rule on in this
I live
world
the golden rule. I
in
think
order to be
everyone lives the
in
golden
order
rule.
to
I
be
think the
rewarded
golden
in
rule is
next.
innate. That's where you make
Well,
the leap, and I think you've jumped
well,
right over the golden
that's
rule. I
why.
think the golden rule is
Well,
inside
that's why you
everyone. So
said you
even if
believe
you
in
don't
God because.
believe in it, the golden rule is still there.
Well, this is why there's a God because the golden rule is innate. It's not human made. It's something outside of us. So that
Okay,
innate
okay, okay.
golden rule is not human based. It's got to be supernatural based. So we'll call it God. We'll call the golden rule God for now, just to make things simple. So believing in that golden rule, following it, if you have a religion, regardless of what you believe, that golden rule that you follow rewards you in heaven or hell. I don't know what Buddhists do, but let's say they believe in heaven and hell. So you're rewarded or you're punished. Being an atheist means that you don't believe in heaven or hell, or being a nihilist believe there's no heaven and hell. So having all those beliefs set aside, you still have the golden rule in place. They still have they still believe they should be good, but there's
That's it.
no penalty or reward for being good or bad. So you can do whatever you want on this planet, be as bad as you want, and there's no punishment if you don't get caught by human authorities, human punishment. There's no
But it's
eternal
almost the
punishment.
opposite, though. It's almost like again, I would turn it back on it. It's like the Hitler thing. If you say that, oh, Hitler will be punished in the end, it almost reduces the motivation of punishing him or stopping him now. It's just like that, you know what? God's going to really do
No,
him
it
one in the
doesn't
end.
because
Whereas
again the
if
golden
it's
rule.
the other way around,
No,
then
no,
it's like
Fraser.
he's not going to get punished afterwards. We got to get to him quick because otherwise there's nothing. He just gets
Well,
away scot
Fraser,
free. So I think
let's
again,
put the
it's
golden
pushing that
rule.
way. But just to respond
I
directly to
want
your
to put.
point though,
Okay.
in just that if I could, but just the whole thing about if they don't believe in this, but it's sort of like if, as I see, people just following the golden rule as a general thing. 99% of people are just kind of following the golden rule. And it's rare, it's really ugly, but you see it where someone really is
Yeah.
following the dog poop rule, the golden
Right.
dog poop rule. But if it's that case, we can describe it as however we describe the origins of where the golden rule comes from. But if we see 99% of people say, and it's probably not that, say it's 90, I don't know what it is, but
No, I think it's not. No, I
following the
think
golden
it's
rule
that
as
one
their
percent.
general guiding principle, they just want the world to be better for whatever their behind beliefs are. There was one guy, he was flat earth. Holy man, that was a tough discussion. But anyways,
Yeah, I
whatever
can
that is,
imagine. Yeah.
he's following the golden rule at every day. And I think in my mind, in my belief system, that's just it. So if you see someone that's following the golden dog poop rule, I think it's like it's fair to say for your belief system is that person's going downstairs. In my mind, it's again that's that motivation to kind of do something about
I
that
want to go
poop.
back a little bit first because you made a good point about the golden rule now and Hitler. Now, we don't
Oh, that one. Yeah.
being like okay. I got to go back a little bit further too, because in the Bible, the Ten Commandments, it says "Thou shalt not kill," but it's a mistranslation. It's "Thou shalt not murder." Okay. Having said that, now, uh, the Bible, the God, Jews and Christians, allows us to stop people from hurting other people using any kind of means necessary. So self-defense is allowed, defense of your own life or the life of someone else. It's allowed in the Bible. It's not murder. It's killing somebody to save somebody else. So
Yeah.
Hitler being the guy that he was, we were right to go to war with him to stop him from killing more people. He killed 6 million Jews in concentration camps, plus I don't know how many millions of others during the war. I mean, like 12 million Russians died. I don't know how many Americans, Canadians, a lot of people died
Yeah.
during this war. So, like, we have, as good people, we have the responsibility to stop evil, no matter what the cost is, even the cost of our own lives. So that golden rule applies not only to treating people like you wanted to treat them, but stopping evil from happening, or stopping
Yeah, and
people
I
from
guess
producing
yeah, and
evil.
like you can apply it on like just such a micro level, but when you go macro, you
Well,
have
I'm
to
looking at a
start making
macro,
these
right?
tough
Yeah,
decisions.
yeah.
Like
Well,
it's
yeah,
like
right.
those things like the guy has to make a decision between, and it's really unfortunate between two people dying or 10 people dying, and it's those
Well,
sort
let's
of
say
like
I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a good example
the
too.
lieutenant kind of decisions. It's tough,
Yeah.
but morally you have to say two people have to die here for global good,
Well,
and it's so tough. But and then
it
again, that
is.
expands war and these kind of things. It goes into that for sure. But
Well,
yeah,
let's
I
say
kind of get it. Like when you start going globally, but it's touchy and it's
it
really
is.
touchy,
No, it
right?
is. It is.
Especially when you're talking
Right.
about war
Do you
for
have to be?
any kind of when
Are you
you bring
making
it up like
evil?
that.
Right.
War brought
But are
up
you making
beside
evil in
religion.
order
It's
to
like,
stop evil?
whoops, what's Christianity's
No,
not
are you
condoning war,
making
is it?
evil to stop evil? Like America dropped two hydrogen
Ooh,
bombs on Japan. We killed
that was the worst
900,000
thing
people
ever.
with those two. But Japan wouldn't have surrendered. So even Japan was
Would they have
saying,
surrendered after
had we
one, do
not
you think?
wait, let me say,
Would they have
they
surrendered
didn't,
after one?
they didn't surrender after the first one. Even Japan said if we had not used the hydrogen bomb on them, millions more would have died because they would not have given up. It was not the Japanese way. So we used an evil to stop evil, or did we did a good thing to stop a country from producing more
No, that
evil?
was just pure evil. That was the wrong way of doing it. Sorry, no, that was
I
the
don't
wrong
think it
way of
was
doing it. That was
wrong.
just pure
I,
evil, and it was the wrong way. It was out of
let's go on a more
spite.
personal
It was
level
out of
right now.
revenge. It was
Let's go on
really
a
not good. They could have dropped like 10 bombs kind of around the island to say, right?
no.
Like this is what we
We needed a
have, and the
grandiose.
next 10 are on the island. But to drop it in the two most populous areas to prove a point,
Well, that's what
no, that was just pure evil. That was horrible.
the
That was
rules of
not good.
war. One of the rules of war, Fraser, is to demoralize the enemy. Yeah, and unfortunately, civilians have to die.
No, 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 and no. Not like that for sure. That was like the worst war crime ever, ever, ever.
It wasn't a war crime. America was never
It
tried
was
for the
the
war
worst
crime.
war crime ever, ever, ever against civilians. Ever.
I disagree. Well, anyway, let's go on a more personal level now. Let's say you're
Let's go
armed, you
somewhere
have a gun.
else. I'm pretty convinced on that one. There's no
Okay,
doubt. I can't
I'm gonna
even
give it more
like there's
personal.
like
Uh,
in terms of like one day kind of events, there is no other equivalent in my mind. But let's go to
I
another
got a
topic.
perfect. I got a perfect
Yogi
example
Berra.
for
Oh
you.
wait, there was like
No,
three
wait,
points
wait.
I
We're
wanted to
gonna
make
go.
on Yogi Berra too. But go ahead, go ahead.
We're off topic, but I'm gonna make one last thing. Remember,
Yeah, yeah.
you heard about the Florida Parkland shooting at the school? You've heard of that?
That's the
18
most
people
recently one?
killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, 18 people shot dead. So let's say you have a gun. You're in the school and you see the Parkland shooter. You know you're going to die, but you confront the shooter to kill him. Do you pull your gun and kill him to save people, or do you let him kill other people? That's a moral dilemma. That's like the golden rule kind of thing where you had to save someone or sacrifice yourself to save other people.
Yeah. I think this is also one where it's the global golden rule that other countries have kind of seen it, that everyone has to give up a little bit of their rights to own arms so that everyone is more safe, so that we don't have killings of 18 people
No,
in
that really doesn't
schools
work.
as a regular
No,
event. And it's
no.
because of that.
Fraser,
It's
that
because
hasn't
of the
worked.
micro level is being managed that we can't take away the rights to the arms, and that is just, again, morally
Well, just
reprehensible when you look at the global golden
well,
rule.
Fraser,
But
I'm
to
only
do what
asking you a
Australia did,
question.
or
Just,
Australia, they went for
I'm
the
not talking
golden
about
regime
gun
and
control.
they just
Fraser, I don't
melted
want to
down
talk about
everyone's
gun
guns.
control.
They melted
I
down
don't want.
everyone's guns, and now
It's
we
not
don't
about gun
have
control. This is
killing.
about.
So it's taking gun control as like an
Oh
infringement on
God.
our rights to save thousands and thousands and thousands. I'm going to start. There's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives. It's a moral impediment if we're following the golden rule on the global sense that we're talking about lives for lives or like a little bit of rights for a lot of lives. It's like one of those golden rule things. Instead of war, it's like a war against
You have the right in
gun
America. You have the
violence.
right to self-defense. But just to answer
And
that
it's
question,
one that
would
you
you
have to give
confront the
up. You
shooter?
have to
No,
give it
Fraser,
up
all
in
I
the
want
golden
you to
rule
do,
kind of sense. If we
all I
don't give
want
it
you to
up,
do
we
is
are
answer,
knowingly
Fraser.
hurting people. Yeah.
Fraser, I don't want you to go into the gun control debate. It's not something that I want to discuss. I
It's
just want
golden
you to
dog
answer
shit,
that
man. It's
question.
golden dog shit.
I just want you to answer. Would you confront the shooter or no?
Golden dog shit, my friend. No, Yogi
Fraser,
Berra.
would you
So
confront the shooter?
going, you just said I'm not
I
allowed
just
to talk
want you
about
to answer.
gun control anymore. You said I'm not allowed to talk about gun control.
No, no, not gun control. We're talking about confronting a
I'm
shooter
kung fu.
now.
I'm not karate. So self-defense and these kind of
Oh
things.
my
But yeah,
goodness.
I'm just saying I'm self-defense. I'm okay with that. So that
Sorry
no,
about
but
that.
Yogi Berra. So I was reading through. There was
All
three
right.
things about that that really struck me. One of the ones I didn't get before was really I never saw anyone hit with their face, and I didn't. And I was kind of reading some of the background. It was when people were calling him ugly and stuff, right? It was
Yeah.
like, so what?
Yeah.
That's like
I
I'm
don't hit the
playing
ball with
baseball,
my face. Yeah.
right? Anyways, it
Yeah.
made me think of you. I'm like, hey Frank,
Oh, thank
no one hits with
you.
their face
Thanks,
because you
Fraser.
have
I'm
all sorts
ugly
of
now.
talent. So why do you worry about your mug? You're swinging bats. You're Yogi Berra. But
Well,
just
I don't
that
think
was
I'm
it.
pretty
That was
though.
the beauty. Another thing that they mentioned was just how he let people mock him almost. Like he had a cartoon
Yeah.
character after him. He was like genius level
Yogi Bear.
to the point that
Yeah.
he was just humble about it. And then it's like
Yeah.
only afterwards. And then at the bottom of the article are like a bunch of like these
Wait, which one?
brains. They made this 95-page article about just about. Oh, it was weird. Explain how yogiisms could be used to replace sentences in the California Civil Code, like to make
Yeah,
it more
really?
understandable. Seriously, but what a great idea,
I
right?
didn't know about that. I had no
It's
idea.
like
That's awesome.
weird, man. What was the other one? Like judges and late legislators would use comments to simplify things down, right? And it was just like
His
that, and
comment.
it was so accessible. But he let people like go ahead, run over, laugh at me. So what? Never saw anyone hit with
Wow.
their face. No, but just like really stuff like that is like, man, there really is a philosophy in here, you know?
There is.
There really is.
He said a lot of great things. Not even intentionally, but he said a lot of
Yeah.
great things. He said a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What was the other one that really caught me? There was like two or three that I thought, oh, those would be great, like even just themes for an episode. But then, he's got all like flustered. Oh, it ain't over till it's over. I think that was one of them.
We just said that, yeah. It's
And then
deja
the
vu all
face
over
one,
again.
smacking in the face one. Um, there was a couple of those. Oh, I know what it was. Oh, it was right at the end of that other article. That's what it was.
Wait, with the 50 greatest Yogi Berra quotes? Is that one you're looking at?
No, I was
Which one
looking
are you
like there
looking
was a
at?
couple of articles I sent you, and it was just kind of
Yeah, so which
explaining
one are you
some,
looking at?
some high talk about Yogi Berra philosophy. Oh,
Ozuna.
He might not say it right, but he knows what he's talking about. Someone said that.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
He might not say,
I don't know if you didn't like George Bush or President George W. Bush. He didn't
yeah,
say he didn't say things very good, but he oversimplified everything too. Not the greatest orator in
but
the world.
that's what might have made him popular, though. Like just that he could, like it's relatable, and just being relatable, that's part of the philosophy. Because if you're,
Yeah,
it was one of these quotes too. It said it was just a beautiful way that they said it. I wish I could have found it, but it was basically saying he simplified it down, but the sentence that they used was so ridiculous with words that even I didn't really understand. All to say how Yogi Berra said things simply. It's like, why would you use words with four syllables in it? Like, duh. Or maybe that
right.
was a joke, or I don't know, but it was just,
The
but
funny
that's just
thing,
it. Like,
the funny thing, Fraser, is when you use single syllable words, you're monosyllabic, and that's a four syllable word. Monosyllabic, 5 syllable word.
that's good, yeah. Oh, that's it. Oh, man. No, but it's anyways. I think we could have some fun with this one because I want to look like there was some of those um like I say the links at the bottoms and I clicked to a couple of them. The
Oh,
articles I
let's
don't
see.
have access to here, but I might have an account where I have access to these
All
academic
right.
articles, so I just want to look it up like they're academic readings of them, and I'm sure and they're talking at one about philosophy classes, you know, like actual like university philosophy classes with Yogi
Oh, that's
Berra
awesome.
as
Yeah.
the
That was
theme or the
that was
topic.
my idea. They stole my idea already.
Well, we're doing it. We're doing it now. I got the one. The other one that I was really thinking about was the one about funerals. And it's kind of funny what he said,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah.
really it was about don't like your enemies. Basically, kind of be good to your enemies or something like this. In that,
Well, I can go back to the Bible
how
with that
was it?
too.
It was like really
Well,
good how
wait, is it what
someone
do you think? He
swung
said
it
like
some way or
you
said
better
something
see.
that really struck me about it. Yeah.
You think he said something? Oh, wait, let me get it. I'm gonna get it up before I screw it up here. I, I
Like it's
I have the link
it's
right
about
here.
uniting things, right? Like, and I really thought that
Right.
was good. That
Here we go.
he,
Always go to other
yeah.
people's funerals, otherwise they won't come to yours.
hmm But I think that
I think.
applies to the United States as well, in terms of uniting things, like uniting right and left in a way that's feasible. Because otherwise, again, we're
That'll
talking
never
about
happen.
funerals, we're talking about civil war, we're talking about like half of the country just leaving because they're fed up with it or something. So that's where it's at. Like, and they were talking about that with him that he was just, you know, he was a clown, as it were. So he didn't have to pick sides. He could be for the Yankees. He could be against the Yankees. It was like, or he was, maybe that was a little bit more
Oh,
serious when he was in baseball.
I
But
think
in this sort
I
of
think he played for
philosophical
the Mets.
public level, like, yeah. Mhm.
I think he played for the Mets and coached for the Yankees, so he went for the National and the American League.
Well, they were talking about it in that too. That there was one time he put on a hat of the Yankees, and it was very symbolic because he had like publicly bitched about the
He
Yankees somehow. I don't know. There was a
he was
little bit of
actually
thing there. I was skimming
he was
through
actually
quick. Yeah,
fired by George Steinbrenner from when I was
maybe
reading.
that was it. And then he
Yeah,
put it on, and they kind
and
of he made
he
up.
was fired very abruptly too. And George, I don't know if you don't know, he's the Yankees obviously and the Mets and New York baseball teams. George Steinbrenner was the owner of the Yankees, and he was probably a little bitchy about what he did. He was very abrupt, you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I
But
can't find them. The other
no, I
one.
can imagine. This was when he was a coach, Yogi Berra.
I think he was a coach for the Yankees. Yeah.
Oh, there I've got it. Steinberg. Yeah, that's what it said. So Berra is managing the museum, and after burying the hatchet with owner Jerry Steinbrenner, who he had
George
boycotted
Steinbrenner.
since
Jerry.
1985.
Who's who's
That's what it says.
Jerry? Who's
George Steinbrenner.
George
I
Steinbrenner?
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
His
know.
son owns it now, I
So
think.
more that, and it was just that. So that's where they were going. That's where I was reading it too. So that kind of represented how at least for sports, that he would bring the people together with the one-liners. And so
Yeah.
it was based on that to always go to other people's funerals, kind of talking about Steinbrenner. You know, the guy that he probably, I don't know the whole story, but maybe he should hate him kind of thing. But go to his funeral,
From
as
what
it
but
were.
there was bad blood between them. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Said he was a wise, what was it? Wise, ornery coach for the New York Mets. He coached the Mets and the Yankees. Then the Houston Astros. Then he said goodbye to baseball in '89. So he had a long career in baseball. He played from like what
yeah, he's been
65
like 45 to 65 as a player, and then
and
right
then
to
as a coach until 1989.
89. Yeah, that's a lot of time. Anyway,
Yeah, a lot of time in baseball. Yeah. Well, they I've heard this saying: if you work at something that you love, I'm gonna screw up the quote now, but I know if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life.
yeah, I've heard that one too.
Like
Did Yogi
Johnny
Berra say that?
Carson,
No.
I don't know. Johnny Carson, I think towards like the end of his retirement when he quit the Tonight Show. By the way, the best host of any show ever. I love that show. He was saying he
Yeah,
never worked a day in his life in that show. Him, Ed
yeah,
McMahon, Doc Severinsen. The best show ever. They always laughed all the time. It was fantastic.
yeah,
And he said he never worked a day in his life. He enjoyed it. So Yogi Berra had the uh, the privilege of working in baseball, something he loved all his life, most of his
yeah.
life anyway,
Yeah.
and retiring comfortably, living in a house. That's a life. That's the dream.
Especially you see where he started from. It was like
Yeah,
immigrant
right.
coal miners, and he dropped out of school at 14, and worked in the coal mine or some damn thing like this.
I don't
Whoops,
know. Yeah, I
So
didn't.
yeah, talking about the dream, yeah, he found it, and he seemed to be very happy of from where he
First,
came. I don't know.
it's like
Might
it's
be
only in
a question
America.
of appreciation. Yeah. Pardon?
Right, it's only in America you can come here, start from the bottom, and work your way to this kind of success, and do
No, that's
everything
good.
legally too. Yeah. So,
And I'm glad for him. Like it's one of those characters that
no.
it seems like it deserves it. But anyways, I should probably quit out now. On that
Okay.
note, Yogi
No,
Berra,
we did
we've
good.
introduced him now, but I think that those open up some really, like honestly, like especially the bent that you took it there. I hadn't even gone there, but how he's even talking about, or he could, that you could interpret it quite easily as going past time, right through to eternity, interpreting those quotes, or just using those quotes to help
Mhm.
describe more larger things, right? It ain't over till
I
it's
think
over in terms of the salvation sense, or something like this, like you
right.
were saying,
Well, that's where I want to take it. I want to take some philosophy and bring it to some kind of godly, religious kind of thing. Because it's basically that we don't we're only in this world for what 75, 80 years, maybe 100 if you're lucky, and then we have eternity of being dead. Wherever you think we're gonna go, or where I know we're gonna go, we have that eternity to and whatever we do on this planet is going to reflect our salvation. So you only have a certain amount of time. But your life isn't over until
yeah.
it's over. You have until your last breath to do anything
Exactly.
that you
Just
need to
on
do.
that temporal scale, that works
Right.
perfectly. After that, like you say, it works on different people. But maybe you made me think that maybe you want to do that, like because you've got this, I don't know, desire to make that link. We could go almost like down this list that we have, the
Oh
50,
yeah.
and you pick out one, and with not scripture, but kind of the what you're doing there, make it
We'll
link it to
go. We're gonna.
Christianity,
We can
and
link
maybe we could
philosophies.
go from there. Or
We're gonna link
pardon?
philosophies. We're not gonna go. Well, we don't have to go deep into scripture, but we can link the philosophies.
Well, just using almost Yogi Berra as the car analogy, because of what you're saying.
George
For
Barra is the
me,
catalyst.
as a cat, yeah, exactly. He's the catalytic converter. No, he's turning it into good stuff, right? He's making sure we're not, no. No, however we use it, but it's really fun. Yogi Berra is just like, you can't not like him. So, but his quotes too, I mean, they're deeper. Just reading those articles, I don't think they go into them quite the same, but you could go in a lot of different directions using those simplified life principles almost. Like they're just like gold nuggets that apply so broadly, and that's why they're so popular. And that's why he was so good at it. I don't know how he did it. That was awesome too, but how we can use them
Well, he never
with
did it
however you
intentionally. He
want to
always
go.
did it. He never did it intentionally. He just, like you said, just anything that came to mind, he said it. Oh, this reminds me
Yeah.
of a joke. I don't know. This has nothing to do with anything, but Ronald Reagan had a great sense of humor. The American president, you know about him? Okay. Has nothing to do with the story, but it just reminded me of this. He was at a party, and you know how reporters are. They always want to go after celebrities, presidents, whatever, try to corner them and get them to say something. So they asked him, Ronald Reagan, he said, when are you going to send jets to Libya? And he said, what are they going to do with the baseball team? But it's a
Dude,
line
that's really
that I
good.
would think it's Yogi Berraism,
Yeah,
that he took something so complicated and made it into this simple little joke to stave off the reporters and not give away any national defense secrets. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep it light without saying no. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not
yeah,
gonna tell
right,
you, you
yeah,
stupid
right.
reporter.
What are they going to do with the
But
baseball
saying the
team?
same thing.
Oh, football team. Sorry, football. Jets of football. I said
That's it.
baseball. I'm sorry. Football. People, I'm not a sports expert. I don't watch sports. I don't follow it. So give me a break.
I called the Super Bowl the World Series, so don't even get
Yeah,
started
right.
with me.
Right. They
So
get a
yeah,
touchdown in baseball.
that's it. Well, it's so exciting though when they get a touchdown in baseball, and right after that,
Right.
right through the 5 hole. I mean, it's just great. It's
Right.
just a great
Right.
game.
They use the 9 irons.
But that's what you have to, right? Right down the downstretch in the 11th
Yeah.
inning or something like this. That's it.
Okay. All right. So this is Seeking Truth, Finding Frank and Fraser, and Yogi Berra Philosophy with Frank and Fraser. And we'll take this. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Good night. God bless.
You know.